Hey there, ready to get down to business? Okay, this song has three elements that I consider educational value. First of all, there's some chords. Most of them are standard chords that you probably already know, but I'll throw in a few little exotic chords. Most importantly, this is going to use the rumba strum, the flamenco rumba strum, and the strum is something that we're going to use throughout the course. Not only this strum, but we'll use variations of it. So, one of the things I want you to learn in this video is the strum. Even if you get it slowly, keep practicing it. And finally, we're going to start the process of learning to play melody with our fingers. This is a very simple melody, and I'll show you some exercises to get the fingers moving. So let's get going. Let's start with the chords. So most of the chords are pretty basic chords. I did this on purpose so you can concentrate on the strum and the melody. A minor, we're going to do a regular G. You'll be using a D minor and an E. Now, two chords that you may not know. This is a form of F, but not the usual form. It looks like a bar chord, but I'm not barring it. I'm actually just stretching my finger over and putting it on the first fret of the first sixth string. Okay, sounds exotic. So my first finger is on the first fret. My third finger is there on the third fret on the fifth string. On the fourth string, I've got my pinky. The third string is my second finger. Now the B and the E, the second and third strings are open. That's what makes that exotic sound. So try and finger that chord. The name of it slips my mind, but not important, and I will write it later in some notes. Okay? Put your finger on there and just try it out. See if it sounds like that. This is a chord where you'll need to keep your thumb back there. If your thumb goes over the neck, you'll never be able to finger this properly. So the other chord, you saw E, but at some point in the tune I'm playing E sus4, suspended 4. It's just an E with my pinky down on the third string. So that's E, sus4, I put my pinky down, second fret, third string, sus4. Okay, so come on back and we'll start with the strum. In this song, we're going to use what we call a gypsy rumba strum, or just a flamenco rumba strum. It's sort of the basic strum for that kind of nouveau flamenco style. So let's do it with an A minor chord, and I'm going to break it down. It's 4 beats, and I'm going to show you the first half, the first 2 beats, and then the second half. Before we do that, let me show you the strum, and then I'll show you an exercise that you want to practice before trying the strum. Here's the strum. It doesn't sound like much slow. Let me do it a little faster so you hear what it's supposed to sound like. So let's break it down. That's down, up, down. I'll call this a flick mute. Up, flick mute. And then brush up with the fingers, and then down, up. That's the whole strum, 4 beats. Let's start with the first 2 beats. Down, up, down, flick up. That's 1, half of the strum. The flick up is the part I want you to practice. For now, take on this exercise, your first exercise. Start with the hand down, loose, and flick up. It's mostly in the wrist. I'm using very little elbow on this. It's just slight movement. It's a flick up, and my thumb brushes against the string when I flick up. And I'm slightly opening my hand when I do that too. making A minor in my left hand. Try that out. Hand down, kind of hanging. Brush against the strings with the thumb, open up the hand a little bit, and then we're going to mute the strings. That's slow. Doesn't really sound right when I do it that slow, just showing you. Here's faster. See, I'm choking the strings. It's all in the right hand. So practice that separately. A little bit every day, I'd recommend. But don't wait till you get it perfect to go on to this next step. Now we're going to add it to a part of a strum. One beat. Down and then up. Down, up. So that's your second exercise. Down, up. Down, up. Down, up. And now for the third exercise, we're getting close to the strum now. We're going to do half the strum. Down, and flick mute up. Down. When I go down, I'm brushing on the outside of my fingers. My hand slightly closed. Down, up, down again, and then flick up. Try that with me, nice and slow. Down, up, down. So the trick's to stay relaxed. Not always that easy. Down, up, down. Down, up, down. Again. So that's your third exercise, and I want you to practice those, starting with the first one, and then after a few days, add the second, then add the third, and do all three of them a little bit each day. So now let's put it together with the strum. The second half of the strum is easy once you get that first half. That's why I broke it down. Get that first half. The rest will follow. So it's down, flick, mute up. That's half the strum. And then you brush up. So you go up after that. That's beat 3, you're up. Down, 2, 2. Oops, I forgot to mute. Down, up, down, mute up, and then brush up with the strings. Inside of the first finger. Now the whole strum. Down, up, brush up, and then down outside the fingers, and then up, and you start over. Now I'm on beat 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. And there is a slight pause in there. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And there we go. Now I got the beats right. 1 and 2 and 3. That's the pause. 4. 1, 2 and 3 and oop. Try again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. It's not easy to do slow. Down, up, down, up, down, up. I usually do better. I don't count it with numbers. I just put a little there to hold that space. Da, 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 You might want to try that. Makes it sound interesting anyway. So I'm going to do it a little bit faster now, so when you get to this point, you have something to play along with. Down, up, down, up. Down, up, down, up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 Okay, now I'm going to show you a little faster version. Don't worry if you're not there yet, but I want to give you something to go to when you get a little facility going here. Ready, go. a little faster. Okay, so remember, it takes time. Be patient. That's not the only Roomba flamenco strum, by the way. There are many variations on it and versions of it. We'll get to some more later in this course, but that's a good one to start off with. So when we come back, we're going to start working on melody. Time for melody. We're going to use the first two fingers, and here's an exercise I just want you to get started with. Each sixth string, I want you to hit 4 times with your fingers, like this. Open. And then you go back down. 2, 4. It's all in my right hand. You want to keep it steady. You can practice with a metronome. Start slow and then pick up speed. We call this picado, using the 2 fingers for melody. Now you can do this with a pick. I often play melody with a pick. I have one on my guitar. I recommend, if you want to play this style of music, that you learn to use your fingers. There are times where the sound that I want really sounds like better with my fingers, though I can play faster with a pick. And there's nothing wrong with using a pick. I'm going to show you several exercises during this course to help you use your fingers. But do keep in mind, if you just don't want to bother with that, you're welcome to use a pick and play the melodies with a pick as well. So, one more exercise. This is a scale, the C scale. We're going to use a lot of these notes in this song. Now this song is in the key of A minor. A minor has pretty much the same notes as the key of C. They're related. The key of C is a major key, C major. It uses the C major scale. And A minor is the minor key, A minor. It's the relative minor of C. It just means it uses the same notes as C, only you start on A. C scale. Listen. Now if I start on A, I'm going to just start on the open A and play exact same notes. Now I'm at the C. And I ended on A. That's A minor. Same notes as C, only I go from A to A instead of C to C. Now if that doesn't make perfect sense to you, really do not worry too much about it. There'll be plenty of time for theory later. I just throw in some tidbits now and then, and you'll see over time some of it starts coming together. The important part is to practice the C scale with your picado, your 2 fingers that we did with the open strings, to get the facility of doing it. Let your doing lead and your understanding follow. Don't try to intellectualize. Let your understanding follow your practicing and your doing and your experiencing it. It works better with music. Not with all things, but with music it works better that way. C, 5th string, 3rd finger. Go on to the next string, 4th string, open. second finger, second fret, third finger, third fret. Notice a trend here. The third finger is always on the third fret for this scale. Second finger is on the second fret. Open is open. Start again. C, third finger. Open. D, E, second finger. Third finger, F. G is an open string. A. Then B. Oh, that's B flat. B is an open string. And then first finger. Let's stop there, though you could go on and start to scale again. I did that in the first example. But this is the main notes we're going to use, so let's just do that to start. Start with C again. Ready, go. Third finger, fifth string. Open, D, E, third finger F. On the fourth string, go on the third string, open, A, open B, got it, and then C, first finger. Let's go down now, starting with first finger, second string. Come to the fourth string, third finger, second, open, end on the third finger, fifth string, C. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Now, practice this up and down very slowly. It's another good place to use a metronome, but don't always practice with a metronome. Just work at it first and then try the metronome to gauge your progress, your speed. Slow is better. Aim for getting the fingers close to the fret, but not on top. If you get them close, it's easier to get a good sound. You want to have your thumb behind the neck of the guitar and your fingers slightly angled and coming down. Don't flatten out your hand like this. That makes it harder to play. Let's do it together one more time. Ready, C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and then going down. C, B, and C. Good. Another tidbit for your daily practice, the C scale. Now we're going to get into the melody next. See you in a minute.